Hello. Today we're going to talk about markup and markdown. Now, markups and markdown is just having us apply our previous lesson of percent change. Because a markup is an example of a percent increase, and a markdown is an example of a percent decrease or a discount. So these are all things we're very familiar with on how to calculate, because in our previous lesson we talked about calculating percent increase and decrease, and then a few lessons back we used our knowledge of percent proportions to calculate discounts. This is all very, very familiar territory for us. So now that we've defined a markup and a markdown, let's take a look at an example of what that would look like. So an example of a markup is an exclusive clothing boutique triples the price of the item it purchases for resale. So as you guys know, stores will purchase items from a supplier and then change the price and sell them to get a profit. So in this example, they are tripling the price. So what would be the boutique's markup price? Well, it would be 300%. Because whatever they got the item for is the full price, it's 100%, but since they tripled it, they are now charging 300% of the original price of that item. And then it says, write an expression that represents the retail price of the clothes. So like I said, the original retail price, or the original price is 100 times the 3%, which is the 300%, but that would not be an expression. An expression would just be representing it as 300%. Okay, so in this example, Rick buys remote control cars to resell. He applies a markup of 10%. If Rick buys a remote control car for $28, what is his selling price? Well, we can solve this by setting up a proportion. Whatever Rick bought this car for is 100%. But he's going to mark it up. That means he's going to increase the price by 10%. So essentially, Rick is charging his customers 110% of the price. So we can solve this using a percent. We can solve this using a percent proportion. We are trying to find what 110% of the price is, given we already know what 100% of the price is. We know that 100% of the price is 28. What's 110% of the price? We would go ahead and, by the way, you can always eliminate your common zeros. So that's the same thing as dividing 11 by 10. So we can do 11 times 28 divided by 10. And so what Rick is charging his customers, or what he's selling the remote control car, is for $38. He bought it for $28 and he sells it for $38. Now, another way that we could do this, the decimal version, is, remember how we said it's 110%. Well, that 110% can be expressed as 1 and 10/100ths. So that's the same thing as multiplying 28 times 1.10, and you end up getting the same thing, which is $38. So those are the two ways that we can solve these. So like I said, markups and markdowns are a lot like percent increase and percent decrease, and we can solve these problems using percent proportionality. Let's take a look at the next example. A discount store marks down all of its holiday merchandise by 20%. So by the fact that it's marking it down means the store is doing what? They're giving a discount of 20%. Find the discounted price of the decorations that they regularly sell for $16 and $23. Well, remember, 16 is 100% of the price, and 38 is 100% of the price, and 23 is 100% of the price. Both of these items are now less than that. They're decreased by 20%, which means both of these items are now being sold for 80% of the price. So we can solve these two ways. We can set up a percent proportion to find out what 80% of the price is, this is the first one, and the second proportion would look like this. 80 over 100 is x over 23. And we can solve both of those proportions by using cross products. So that's 8 times 16, because if you notice, I'm just crossing out my common zeros in case you're doing this by hand and not by a calculator. Divide by. So the new price over here is $12.80. And the new price over here is $18.40. And so those are the new prices. Those are the new discounted prices, or the markdown price. So in summary, we're going to go ahead and summarize what we just learned by solving this next problem. To make a profit, stores mark up the prices on the items they sell. A sports store buys a skateboard from a supplier for $S. What is the retail price for the skateboard that the manager buys for $35, $56, and $42? So I want you to pause and attempt this question first, and then resume when you think you've had it. Okay, so if we know that if there's a 42% markup, that means if there's a 42% markup, that means that this price has already been marked up, because they buy it for $35, $56, $35 and $56. That's how much they buy it for. And then they're going to mark it up by 42%, which means that this is 100% of the price. What is 142% of $35? And what is 142% of $56? And so we would set up our percent proportions. And x over $35 and x over 56. And so then we can go ahead and solve this first proportion, and when we solve it using our cross products, means that this product is being sold for $49.70, and this next product is being sold for $79.52. And this wraps up our markup and markdown lesson and guided practice, and now you will go ahead and complete your independent practice.